أن يخسف بكم الأرض فإذا هي تمور أم أمنتم من في السماء أن يرسل عليكم حاصبا فستعلمون كيف نذير ولقد كذب الذين من قبلهم فكيف كان نكير أولم يروا إلى الطير فوقهم صافات ويقبضن ما يمسكهن إلا الرحمن إنه بكل شيء بصير أمن هذا الذي هو جند لكم ينصركم من دون الرحمن إن الكافرون إلا في غرور أمن هذا الذي يرزقكم إن أمسك رزقه بل لجوا في عتو ونفور أفمن يمشي مكبا على وجهه أهدى من يمشي سويا على صراط مستقيم قل هو الذي أنشأكم وجعل لكم السمع والأبصار والأفئدة قليلا ما تشكرون قل هو الذي ذرأكم في الأرض وإليه تحشرون ويقولون متى هذا الوعد إن كنتم صادقين إنما العلم عند الله وإنما أنا نذير زلفة سيئت وجوه الذين كفروا وقيل هذا الذي كنتم به تدعون قل أرأيتم إن أهلكني الله ومن معي أو رحمنا فمن يجير الكافرين من عذاب أليم قل هو الرحمن آمنا به وعليه توكلنا فستعلمون من هو في ضلال مبين قل أرأيتم إن أصبح ماؤكم غورا فمن يأتيكم بماء معين أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم تبارك الذي بيده الملك وهو على كل شيء قدير الذي خلق
webinar. Good job.
Naam, why sound okay, all right, inshallah. Um, Naam, A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Arrahmanir rahim. Maliki yawmiddin. Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. Ihdinas siratal mustaqim. Siratal ladzina an'amta 'alaihim ghayril maghdubi 'alaihim waladdallin. Amen. Brothers and sisters in Islam, I welcome you to this seventh edition of the Congress professionals, the seventh edition of the monthly webinar forum of the Congress professional, put together by professionals of Muslim students of the Muslim Congress. I beg your pardon. It's the first of the Gregorian year, and today, inshallah, we have a lot of packages for you as usual. But before we go on, we shall be starting. We are reading out for you the activities expected for today. Inshallah, we have in our midst one of the reformed and renowned insurance experts, which I will be revealing the identity, who happens to be our guest speaker. I'll be revealing the person's identity in a short while. Today, the Kudratullah will be having the opening prayer first, after which we'll go to Quran recitation. We'll introduce the guest for you, and immediately after that, we'll have the opening remarks as well as the welcome speech by the Wali of the Muslim Congress. Immediately after that, we'll swing into action for the main event of the day, which shall be anchored by our guest lecturer. You get to know the identity, like I said, later. Let me just keep that for now. Inshallah, after the lecture, we'll have contributions from another guest, one of our guests again. Then after that, we'll have our usual donation. So I hope the Abus, the Umus, the brothers and sisters, as well as professionals, are ready, to ensure that today's donation goes on very well and very fine. After the donation, we'll have the question and answer, which will be reactions to the lecture we have, and we'll have our closing prayer to round the vote of thanks then before the closing prayer to round the day off. So inshallah, the first after welcoming us to the seventh edition once again, we'll have the opening prayer. The opening prayer inshallah will be done by Malam Abdullah Trimidi, that's the Congress Professional Secretary. Secretary will be handling that for us. Malam Abdullah Trimidi.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, sir. Wa salam.
No. Alhamdulillah, Alhamdulillah. We give praise and adoration to Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who in His infinite mercy has granted us the light of today. We beseech Him, we adore Him to shower His noblest of mercy on the noble soul of Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, his household and companion, and those who tread his path till the day of reckoning. We beseech Allah to guide us and guide us aright in today's discourse and beyond. For what we are a group of professionals trying to return back Islam in its professional way, and for which we have laid down the foundation of it. May Almighty Allah reward us all abundantly, and to our lecturers and the contributors, may Almighty Allah increase in knowledge, health, and wealth. And we pray to Almighty Allah to restore the glory of Islam within Nigeria and outside the shores of Nigeria. We pray to Almighty Allah to all the participants for today's activity and today's lecture. Almighty Allah see us through and reward us abundantly as we jointly hope that Islam will be returned back to its original state of being. And we pray that the lecture of today's discourse will yield a positive impact in the lives of Muslims generally and in the lives of our professionals cut across the four walls of Nigeria at large. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار دعوانا فيها سبحانك اللهم وتحياتهم فيها وآخر دعوانا أن الحمد لله رب العالمين على النبي الكريم.
Sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Jazakumullah khairan for that. Without much ado, we'll go straight to the recitation of the Quran, which we'll be having two versions of that. We'll have the Quran, the Arabic version, and we'll have the English version, the translation version as well. And that is going to be done by Ustaz Muhammad Thani Akobi and Ustaz Ismail Lawal, respectively. So, Madam Muhammad Thani Akombi will be giving us, will be reciting to us in English, in Arabic, while my very good friend and my brother, Madam Ismail Lawa, will give us the English version. Bismillah. Starts Muhammad Thani Akombi. Maybe you might need to unmute. Stars Muhammad Thani Akombi. Are you on, sir?
It's like saying he's saying he's muted.
Okay, please, technical department, please kindly help us unmute Stars Muhammad Thani.
It's unmuted though. His video is even
okay
on, and the speaker is on. So it's just for him to start.
Okay, now Bismillah, Stars. You might have check your device properly, sir. The microphone on your device. I hope it's not the network. Okay, in while we are having technical issues with Ustaz, are you on now? I can see. I think you're trying to come on, and we can't hear you. We can't hear anything yet, sir.
Hello?
Now,
Hello.
We can hear you now, sir. Wa alaikum salam wa barakatuh.
I'll be reciting Surah Al-Baqarah, verse 282. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم يا أيها الذين آمنوا إذا تداينتم بدين إلى أجل مسمى فاكتبوه وليكتب بينكم كاتب بالعدل ولا يأب كاتب أن يكتب كما علمه الله فليكتب وليملل الذي عليه الحق وليتق الله ربه ولا يبخس منه شيئا فإن كان الذي عليه الحق سفيها أو ضعيفا أو لا يستطيع أن يمل هو فليملل وليه بالعدل واستشهدوا شهيدين من رجالكم فإن لم يكونا رجلين فرجل وامرأتان ممن ترضون من الشهداء أن تدل إحداهما فتذكر إحداهما الأخرى ولا يأبى الشهداء إذا ما دعوا ولا تسأموا أن تكتبوه صغيرا أو كبيرا إلى أجله ذلكم أقسط عند الله وأقوم للشهادة وأدنى ألا ترتابوا إلا أن تكون تجارة حاضرة تديرونها بينكم فليس عليكم جناح ألا تكتبوها وأشهدوا إذا تبايعتم ولا يضار كاتب ولا شهيد فإن تفعلوا فإنه فسوق بكم واتقوا الله ويعلمكم الله والله بكل شيء عليم صدق الله العظيم.
Allahu Akbar. Jazakumullah khairan for that. Madam Ismail Lawa, please, without much ado, let's have the English version, sir.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Now, I'll be doing the English version. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Oh, believers, when you contract a loan for a fixed period of time, commit it to writing. Let the scribe maintain justice between the parties. The scribe should not refuse to write as Allah has taught them to write. They will write what the debtor dictates, bearing Allah in mind and not defrauding the debt. If the debtor is incompetent, weak, or unable to dictate, let their guardian dictate for them with justice. Call upon 2 of your men to witness. If 2 men cannot be found, then 1 man and 2 women of your choice will witness. So if one of the women forgets, the other may remind her. Witnesses must not refuse when they are summoned. You must not be against writing contracts for a fixed period, whether the sum is small or great. This is more just for you in the sight of Allah and more convenient to establish evidence and remove doubts. However, if you conduct an immediate transaction among yourselves, then there is no need for you to record it, but call upon witnesses when a deal is finalized. Let no harm come to the scribe or witnesses. If you do, then you have gravely exceeded your limits. Be mindful of Allah, for Allah is the one who teaches you, and Allah has perfect knowledge of all things. Sadaqallahu al-Azim.
Jazakumullah khairan for that, Madam Ismail Lawal. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alamin. Next, we move straight to the introduction of guests. Before we go to the opening speech by the Wali, we're glad to inform us that we have in our midst very special guests. Top of the list is Alhaji Mikael Animashaun. I'll be giving their profile before their speech, so I'm just here to just introduce them for you to know their name, for us all to get familiar with them so that we can retain our seats and get glue to our screen, whether we are using a laptop, a tab, or a phone, whichever you are using. Just stay glued because you are getting value for whatever data or money and time that you are going to be spending on this platform today, inshallah. So top on the list of our guests, our special guest, is our #1 citizen in Lagos State, the Wali of the Muslim Congress, that is Alhaji Mikhail Anima Shaun. Is closely followed on the list by the the chairman of the Congress professional, and that's the person of Malam Mansour Shogui. Then after the two of them, we'll have a guest that will also be talking to us, inshallah. That is Mr. Anyolere Ismail. And to cap it all is that giant, that financial giant, the insurer of insurance. And she's no other person but Alaja Taibat Adenike Adeniran. Inshallah, she will be the one to take us through. I'm sure a lot of us have seen her pictures, we've seen her profile. Some of us might have seen her profile. For those of us who are inquisitive like me, must have probably search about her. Who is this person? She's an insurer. So she will be taking us through and giving us value for the time we spend here today. So the next is for me to bring on our #1 citizen to give us the opening remark and the welcome speech. We want to welcome on board, for me to hand over the microphone to the #1 citizen, or indigene as some of us may wish to call him, of the Muslim Congress in Lagos State. You know, Lagos is a significant state, you know, not just in Nigeria, but in the entire world, you know, not even to talk about Africa. So we know we are sure of anybody that is a leader of any organization or NGOs in Lagos, or whatever Lagos branch, you know that person is a very powerful person. So, and we are glad to have him in our midst. Ustaz Alhaji Sheikh, permit me to use that, Mikhail Anima Shaun. I hand over the mic to you, sir, for the opening remarks and the welcome speech. Bismillah, sir. Please kindly unmute your mic, sir. Wali, sir, we can't hear you yet. I guess we're having a bit of a network issue there. We all know what network are.
I'm afraid he's
Okay,
not on
alhamdulillah.
the okay. You know, he's not the one here. I'm just trying to call your attention to the fact that he's not seemingly on the line yet.
Okay,
So
at the moment.
Yes, at the moment.
Okay, so inshallah, in his absence, let's have the secretary. You know,
Yeah.
once your guy is not around, you have somebody you can always delegate to, capable and that you can always delegate to. I hope Malam Alhaji Abdulaziz Abiodun Olawumi is online.
He is here. So
okay, Alhaji Abdulaziz Abiodun Olawumi is the secretary of the Muslim Congress in Lagos State. So we're welcome on board, sir. Okay, we can't hear you yet, sir. I think Wali is trying to, sorry, I think the chairman is trying to say something. We can't hear him as well. Madam Masu Shogui. We can't hear you, sir. Technical issue today. Pray Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala help us with this.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Okay, sir. That's Alaji Abiodun.
أعوذ بالله من
Olaomi.
الشيطان الرجيم
Bismillah.
بسم الله الرحمن
Secretary
الرحيم.
is on.
Sorry, can you hear me loud and clear?
Very well, sir. We can hear you loud and clear, sir.
So in the name of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful, we beseech Almighty Allah to be our guidance, to be with every one of us here. Today's webinar is not the first of its kind. Rather, we have been having it serially on monthly basis. And on topical issues, we always engage ourselves. We invite the technocrats who are very, very authoritative in their chosen career to come around to do justice to this topic. Today webinar is never an exception. Therefore, we call on all our members, non-members across board, all over the globe, to listen attentively as Alhaja Taibat Adeniro will give due justice to this topic. She is an authority. She's a well-known person in the insurance palace. Let us join her hands and listen very, very well. Whatever questions, clarifications we might need after her presentations and contributions from all well-meaning Nigeria, we'll be able to accommodate it and should be able to do justice to it. I said, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Jazakumullah khairan for that, Able Secretary, the Secretary of the Muslim Congress, Lagos State. That is Alhaji Abdulaziz Abiodun Olaomi. Jazakumullah khairan, sir. Now, if you are with our day, we are at the point where you are going to get value, like I said earlier, for what you are sacrificing today. Yeah, we are Muslims, and it's expected that as professionals as well, we should give out a bit of a sacrifice of our time, our data, and our money. And inshallah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will reward us abundantly on that. But before I go ahead to introduce our today again, I just want to quickly remind us that we expected that every member on this platform at the moment, I think we're about 100, if not more, we implore us, we appeal to us that there's need for us to follow the Congress professionals on all our social media handles. Whatever social media you are using, it is expected that you follow us on our social media, on Twitter, on Facebook, on Instagram, on YouTube, like our YouTube page, follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and the like. So it is Lagos TCP. Lagos TCP. Just go on the social media and type, or you can even do engine search. Search for TCP, and inshallah you will find out. On Twitter, we are at Lagos TCP. Facebook, it's at Lagos TCP. On our Instagram, it is Lagos_TCP. And finally, we're also on LinkedIn, and that is Lagos TCP. So at the moment, I'm going to be bringing on board our mother, sister, that giant in our midst today. But she's not going to just come on board that way. You need to know a brief profile of her. She's got loads and loads of accomplishments. She has a lot. Her profile is huge, but I'm envying her for Allah's sake. You know, I wish I could also attain what she has attained in life, inshallah. Alaja Taibat Adeniro is going to be our guest speaker, our resource person for today. But before I hand over the microphone to her, it will interest you to know that she is the managing director of Cornerstone Takaful Nigeria Limited. She's an insurer, it's an insurance and Takaful practitioner. She's a fellow of the Islamic finance professional She's a fellow of the Institute of Credit and Administration, an associate of fellow of Islamic banking, an associate fellow rather of Islamic banking and insurance, that is in London. She holds a master's degree in Islamic banking and finance from Al Uda in Pakistan. Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, professionals in the house, I welcome on board Alaja Adenike Adeniro, Taibat Adenike Adeniro on board. Alhamdulillah, before having you on board. Bismillah, ma.
Thank you very much, moderator. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
I really appreciate being with the professional and equally talking about what is going to add value to the Muslim Ummah as a whole. I'm still waiting for my slide to be projected. We all know as Muslim, we have rules and regulation, and equally our dear Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam equally teaches us to continue to ensure our way of life is in line with the ethics of the religion Islam. And that is the core purpose of being here today, to learn, to relearn, to share idea, and equally see how we can take Islam to the next level, especially as it relates to our way of life. We want to talk about Islamic insurance. Islamic insurance, like it never have been on ground. It's not that we don't have insurance in the past, but there's a way Islamic insurance is supposed to be practiced, which is the basis of us being in this program. Next slide, please. To enable us to look at this, we are going to look at some key outlines, the introduction, what the Takaful industry globally is all about, how does it look like, overview of Takaful operation in the country which is Nigeria, issues and challenges that Takaful operator faces, and Takaful opportunity. Is there any opportunity for Takaful to grow in Nigeria? There are equally some group of people called Advisory Council of Experts. What is their function? What are they supposed to do? Or what's the expectation of any Takaful operator that make use of this group of scholars? What type of product can we partake in? And equally some recommendation conclusion. Next slide, please. When we talk about Takaful, it originates from an Arabic word called kafala. Kafala means guarantee. Takaful scheme is based on brotherhood, solidarity, and mutual assistance to provide for financial aid or probably assistance to participants. There's some words that as a Takaful operator, we are expected to use. When I say participants, under the conventional insurance, they use insured. Under Takaful, people and companies concerned about hazard. In view of that, they make regular contribution, which we call donation. The essence of this is to be reimbursed or repaid in case of any of the member face any calamity or loss or probably damage in the course of being part of that scheme. We all know during the life of Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, this kind of activity equally occur during that time, since they are into caravan trading. Most times when they are going on trading, probably some of the people might be robbed. Maybe the money they needed to use to buy goods stolen, or probably on their way back after purchasing the goods, if they are attacked, most of the goods are carted away. In view of this, Rasulullah Sallallahu tried to start a takaful. He now asks everybody going on caravan trade to contribute a certain sum. Why? Because most of the people that are affected, when they get back, they always face challenges. Challenges of ability to take care of their family, to meet their daily needs, and even most of them turn to beggars. In view of this, the money that is kept when going on caravan trade are most time used to support anybody that fall victim of such calamity. What Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam has done is pure takaful. So we follow that act. It is a Sharia-compliant alternative to conventional insurance, which drive three key principles. The first one is ta'awun, which is mutual assistance, supporting one another. And equally, there is contribution, which is called tabaru. And in case of any calamity, all participants come together to support that person that fall victim, which we call risk sharing, which is different from the conventional system, which is risk transfer. So the essence is to continue to support one another and provide benefits of insurance to Muslims and other interested parties, because takaful is not meant for only Muslims. Next slide, please. The first takaful company was set up in Sudan far back in 1979. Globally, we have over 324 takaful operators, which exist in 47 countries. That is only 2% of total Islamic finance industry. Some of the countries include Sudan, Egypt, Saudi Arabia, Iran, Kuwait, Malaysia, UAE, and inclusive of Nigeria, and many more. The global takaful market reached 19 billion in 2017. It has been growing over years from 2013, when it was 12.3 billion, 2014, 14 billion, and many more till we get to 2017, which came to 19 billion. The market is further projected to continue to grow up to 40 billion, the Qudratullah, by 2023, at a compound annual growth rate of 13%, which means the tendency for between 2017 and 2023, the growth will have been almost doubled. This is a good one for the Islamic thought. Looking at takaful in the global industry, some of the benefits includes it leads to economic growth. It equally increased gross domestic product per capita, because most people will have source of income, so they will surely contribute. The youthful demography is there, because most of the youth will equally be part of this. There's increasing awareness on takaful. I remember when takaful started far back then, it's like, is this something that can be managed in this kind of our diverse economy? Is it Islamic? Because the knowledge was still very low. But now the awareness is growing on daily basis. Equally, there's greater desire for Sharia compliance offering. Hence, we have non-interest banks and equally non-interest investment companies. There's equally increase in asset base of Sharia compliant financing. So most people now, they've seen the beauty of being able to source for financial support from non-interest banks. But with all this, there's equally some challenges, which include fragmented landscape, undercapitalized. Some operators, they face challenges in meeting some of their customers' needs, especially when there is catastrophe. There's limited re-takaful capacity. Currently in Nigeria, there's no re-takaful company except the few reinsurance companies that have re-takaful outside the country. So that is an opening which people can equally be part of. There's problematic asset management. Some assets are so difficult to manage. When you look at the investment platform, and equally some of the assets to be covered by takaful operators. Local solution offering is another big challenge. To get the best software that can manage takaful is a very big challenge. And if you look at the economy now, coupled with COVID-19, there's need for a lot of activity to be done via either virtual, online, and all sorts. So there's need for improvement in local solution. Equally, local distribution channel. If you look at the past, what we are so used to is cold canvassing, that is visiting from one house to the other. But looking at the economy, since February last year, marketing strategy has changed. There's a lot of communication via online, WhatsApp, and other channels or media that we'll be able to use to communicate, which were not being fully utilized in the past. Compulsory protection, license, these are some of the other challenges that are faced. License and increased competition those are some of the future challenges. Better regulation. Alhamdulillah, when takaful started far back in 2003, there was no regulation. 10 years afterwards, which was in 2013, NICOM came up with regulation. And with NICOM regulation, a lot of new things started coming in, which has led to development of takaful in Nigeria to the next level. There's equally greater role for private sector's participation, because since takaful have various products, there's need for everybody, private, individual, association, and many more to be part of it. Increase market-led initiative. Some takaful operators, the kind of product that they have doesn't meet the need of customer. So going forward, there's need to continue to build a customer's need product that will add value to the need of the insuring public. So all these are what's needed to be looked into in order to have a very efficient and effective takaful company. Next slide, please. Next, okay, good. It's too fast. I think you have moved too fast. You can go one slide back. Okay, yeah, okay, let's move on. Okay, next slide now. Thank you. Looking at Nigeria, takaful was introduced in 2003 because there was a story behind this. Many people, they've seen the conventional system of operation, and it's not in line with ethics of the religion, so I don't think I can be part of this anymore. But some people, they came together and they believe we need to follow what Rasulullah Sallallahu teaches. Let's seek for knowledge. Let's see what other international worlds are doing. So that was what happened in 2003. So knowledge was sought outside the country, and the result is what we are seeing. Because it served as a vehicle to drive financial inclusion among Muslims, Orthodox Christian, and those with ethical inclination. It equally provides a path to deepen insurance penetration contribution, that is to grow the GDP. There are 2 windows and 4 approved Takafu operators in Nigeria. Equally, its product offering includes family business, that is individual and group products, and equally general Takafu businesses. The required paid-up capital to operate a Takafu outfit in Nigeria is for general business or for family business only is 100 million. But if you want to operate composites, it means you must have 200 million. Next slide, please. In 2016, Takafu penetration remained less than 1%. Even looking at insurance generally is still very, very low. Despite the recent growth of insurance penetration, it still remains very, very low, that is 1%. In 2016, insurance premium represents 0.3% of GDP in Nigeria. If you have to compare it to worldwide average, which is 6.1%, and the African average of 2.8, you can see the difference is still very, very wide. General insurance premium have consistently been higher than life insurance premium in 2016. General insurance accounted for 68% of the insurance premium. Though being a new product, more people are buying general business. Next slide, please. Between 2016 and 2019, a lot of development has equally occurred in the Takafu market. In 2016, there were 3 windows: Takafu, that's African Alliance, Niger Insurance, and Cornerstone Insurance. Cornerstone is the only operator that provides both family and general business, Takafu. So the Cornerstone was the market leader with 45% of premium. That is Cornerstone, African Alliance, who has the first to provide Takafu insurance, has second largest share of 42%, while Niger Insurance had 13%. Of our Takafu contribution, 60% are family, which we call life business, and the remaining 40% came from general business. That means more people are buying general business. But in 2017, the number has increased to 5. So we have 2 new standalone composite Takafu operators, that is Jais Takafu and Nur Takafu. They were granted a license. 2 years afterward, that was 2019, the number has grown to 6. So we have 2 new standalone composite Takafu operator, that is Cornerstone Takafu and Salam Takafu. They were equally granted approval. So the window part of Cornerstone is now closed. Next slide, please. These are critical issues for any Takafu to succeed in the business. The first thing is public awareness, which is what we are currently doing here now. There's need for constant advertisements, lectures, workshops, presentations, either in the mosque, in gathering, and many more, and equally webinar. There's need for constant communication with clients to give them assurance of the continuity of such Takafu operator. There's need to equally have target marketing. That is the group any Takafu operator intend to provide a service to. Constant review of existing products for any amendments, adjustments, addition or review is key because customer needs changes almost on a daily basis. So the products must be tailored to meet customers' needs. Equally, there needs to continue to sort for support that is best of Takaful Sharia Council members because they are advisors to Takaful operator so that they will continue to be in line and meet Sharia requirements. There's need for constant monitoring of investment portfolio so as to generate reasonable halal profits to meet all stakeholders' expectation. Next slide, please. Equally, profit distribution must be communicated to all others so that their expectation will be known from day one in black and white. All terms and conditions must be well articulated clearly on the plan or private policy certificates. There must always be prompt treatment of requests. Issuance of plan, scheme, certificate, or probably attempting to claim requests. There must be constant or appropriate training for marketers, staffs, to avoid misrepresentation. Because misrepresentation can create a lifetime challenge for any Takaful operator. Next slide, please. Now, looking at Nigeria Takaful operator, these are some of the challenges that have been observed. The lack product innovation, probably because most of the operator hardly undergo what we call market research. Because market research will have been an eye-opener to tell us what is expected or what the need of the insuring publics are. Equally, there's low utilization of technology. And the EP now is technology. So most of the product and equally process need to be technology-based. Then low utilization of available distribution channel. We started with code canvassing, but there's so many other channels. There's Banker Takaful. There is partnership with other group, affinities. There's so many ways. The channels, even brokers, that one can adopt to grow Takaful penetration. Equally, there's still low awareness on Takaful. Most time, one will just be shocked. If you are talking to people, they will tell you, I'm just hearing it for the first time. So that means we still need to do more so that people will understand, even we can start from the higher institution so that when we catch them young, it will help the growth from the institution. They will have a curriculum in line with the principle of Takaful. Depth of quality asset to invest Takaful funds. I remember when Takaful started FABA in 2003, there was no non-interest investment company. So it was a very, very big challenge. But alhamdulillah today, this problem is gradually easing up. We have non-interest investment company now, we have non-interest banks. So with all these, gradually, I believe the economy will continue to grow. I know some people some company are on the pipeline to seeking for approval for non-interest banks. Another big challenge is skilled manpower. We have very, very limited number of people that understand the principle of Takaful. So if we can commence from the tertiary institution, I believe is going to help a lot. Or probably we can set up an institute to cater for this gap. Depth of experience in Islamic finance. I remember because Takafu came into Nigeria in 2003, fallen in love by a non-Muslim who knew nothing about what the in-depth of Islamic finance, though he wrote his thesis on Islamic finance. But eventually, with some scholars coming close to him, Takafu blown open in 2003. So it means we still need to have a group that is going to cater for the knowledge gap in Islamic finance. We need it so much in this country. Another issue is governance and risk management. The exposure of most Takafu operators today is how they can manage their risk, because we continue to bring in different risks, and the basis of the risk is the contribution. So this contribution, if it's not well priced, there's going to be challenges in the nearest future. So managing this risk is key, and equally encouraging the insuring public on how they can prevent the occurrence of the risk that has been covered. Another challenge is unfriendly tax regime. If you look at Takafu Fund, let's look at Family Takafu Fund. The fund is purely savings. If you have to now pay tax on the total contribution, and equally the participant will equally pay tax on his own income, it has turned to double tax. So all these, we still need to look at it so that we know, is it in a certain proportion, which is called probably the Chabaru, that will be taxed, not the total Takafu fund, because all those funds will still go back to the participant. Next slide, please. These are wider challenges. Converting perception into reality. Most people, when they Google, they say they will get a lot of information online, because there's what we call principle of Takafu and there is practice of Takafu. The principle is writing, grammar of how it works. I remember I was at a program where we were giving the lowdown of principle. But when questions started coming in on the practical, which is the practice of Takafu, they lack that knowledge. But here in Nigeria, we are blessed. We have both the principle and the practice of Takafu. But we still need to continue to educate the incoming youths so that they have a better knowledge of how the Takafu will be a going concern. Education, I've mentioned that people still lack knowledge of what Takafu is all about. Distinguishing good and bad risk. In as much as Takafu operator always try to itemize the no-go area or the haram product or haram goods to invest fund, they keep on having challenges. Looking at a product, it will look good, but by the time the advisory council of experts get deep into the nitty-gritty of that product, one will just be shocked that is haram, and one will just hands off it and let it go. Product innovation and pricing, all these needed to be Sharia-based, because that is the key for any Takafu operator. All their products must be Sharia compliance. There's need to have more technical competence. Currently, the knowledge is still limited, both for general business and equally for family business. Then the key one, which is the Takafu, is another big challenge, which we need to really look into of how best we need to have a Takafu within the economy instead of sourcing from the outside country. Competitor activities in regions. is good because if it is the fair one, for me, I believe in collaboration. Since we are all in business to survive. When 2, 3 Takaful operators come together, they can share the risk. It will reduce the exposure or the liability of each and every one. Instead of using pricing to cut the real and reasonable price to be placed on some risk. That one is another challenge that is being faced in the Takaful market. Regulatory framework and compliance issues. The regulation is good, at least it's helping to streamline a lot. And now that we have Takaful regulation and NICOM is equally checking, which they act as checkmate for all Takaful operators. I think gradually Takaful operator, we are getting used to it so that we know that to be in business, you just have to follow the rules and regulation, especially as it affects governance. Profit motive of the operator. All Takaful operators, they are supposed to be keeper of participant funds. At the end of the day, whatever is due to them is either the wakala fee or probably sharing from the profit. So it's different from the conventional system whereby all the funds will be moved to shareholder to take decision on. So that makes Takaful different from the conventional system. There's a diverse Sharia view and standardization. Yes, this is a very big challenge because in some parts of the country, what we don't accept here, they do accept it there. There's different principles that guides everyone. And equally, scholars seek to reach a fatwa which they can pass and other Sharia team is equally accept and ensure they follow suit. Large risk and rich Takaful capacity leading to cession to conventional reinsurance. This is a very big challenge that Takaful operators are facing, but there's different way one can work around that. If you have a very huge number of vehicles, for example, you can itemize the specific vehicle in as much as we have seen that the vehicle are used for halal activities. The specific will be given to Takaful operator.
Sorry, Ma.
Now.
Sorry, Ma. We have about 10 minutes to quickly round up, Ma, before we get to the question and answer segment.
Yes,
Thank you so much.
I'm moving on. Thank you very much. Thank you. And you call it technical issues like how to handle solvency, surplus distribution, and other. Next slide, please. Next slide. This is just the benefit and potential of Takaful in Nigeria. A report was presented by FINA, which showed there's high potential for Takaful to grow very fast in Nigeria, coupled with the fact that we have over almost 50% of the population as Muslim. And equally, Takaful is not meant for Muslim only, so there's ample opportunity for Takaful to grow. Next slide, please. These are the roles Advisory Council of Experts. They help the preparation of this products and all other documents that will be pushed to the insuring public. They ensure that these products are in line with the ethics of the product and is based on Sharia principle. And the minimum number of A's is 3 members. It can be more, but it must not be less than 3. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. Okay. So these are the duty of Advisory Council. with Sharia principles. Next slide. But Takafu operator, their own responsibility includes previous flight, please, to ensure that the avenue is free and all the duties, all the products are based on Sharia principle. And equally, the advisory council or expert should always be calling if there's any challenge, either on investment decision or probably on any other activities that will help the growth of Takafu. They can equally discuss with the public on any Takafu issue if there's need for that. Next, please. So these are some of the products for under the general business. We have the fire, burglary, professional indemnity, all risk, household, electronic, marine, and many more. And equally, we have, next slide, Takafu products under the family, which is either the group scheme or probably the individual. Next slide, please. Under the group scheme, there's whole life, there's pilgrim scheme, there's group family for association, corporate organization, and many. Then for individual, you have marriage, mortgage, SALA, education plan, or probably individual retirement that anybody can use to plan for his own retirement. Next slide, please. Okay. I think this is equally talking about the savings products, can be family, credit, or probably most of the investments are based on Mudoroba system, and there's equally annuity. So all these are still a growing product. Next slide. Okay, this is just to show the discrepancy between Takafu and conventional. Is cooperative and is a risk sharing, not risk transfer. Anybody can buy Takafu. The pool fund is based, the investment is going to be based on Sharia guidance. And equally, advisory council expert take a lot of decision to ensure this is followed. What happened to the profit? There's always profit distribution, and equally there's surplus distribution if it's general business for those who do not claim during the period of cover. Next slide, please. Next slide. So these are some of the recommendations, and these are some of the distribution channels. Full exploitation of opportunities there. So partnership with existing non-interest bank is good, and use of technology. We really drive Takafu even up to grassroots. So mobile phone, both in the urban and rural, where the urban has 84% and rural has over 55%. So phone can be used as a means, as another channel to distribute Takafu products. Go on, please. Next slide, please. Okay, regulation, I think I've discussed about that. Then training and awareness is going to really help to boost Takafu industry. Next slide, please. Okay. In conclusion, according to EFINA, 4 million adult population would like to have Takafu products. There is a huge market for the products with continued public awareness is key. All Muslims need to ensure we all participate in Takafu operation or operator so that for all our insurance needs, let's be part of this Takafu. Let's insure our property, our vehicle, and many more. And lastly, we all know we shall be asked, how do we meet Islam? What is our contribution to its growth? And how did we left Islam? Let this be food for thought for all Mumini and Muminat. May Allah assist all of us. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Wow. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Jazakumullah khairan ma for that great presentation. Such an insightful one, I must confess. You know, my notes are filled up already. And despite the fact that I'm still going to get some of these slides, and I still have the recordings of this beautiful lecture and speech from you. And a lot of people have been commending you on the chat box. They've been praying for you for this beautiful one. I'm sure for some of us who have noted some of the things she has taught us, for those of us who are just joining, we've just been addressed by the managing director of Cornerstone Takaful in Nigeria. That is Alaja Taibat Adenike Adeniran. And I'm sure for the whatever part of presentation that you met, I'm sure you are glad that at least. But if you miss any part, you can always go back to the social media. And for those of us who are here as well, this webinar is presently going on live on YouTube, on our YouTube channel. You know, search for TCP, Lagos TCP on YouTube, you get it. And also search for some of the links on our social media platform, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn as well. Now, so we'll move to the next on the agenda, which is the contribution from another great insurer. You know, TCP, like I told you, anything that has to do with Lagos is significant in the world. So TCP is not just staying with Cornerstone alone, which is one of the first three Takaful operators in Nigeria. You know, we are also extending it, and we're having a contribution from another guest. That guest is while Aja, the resource person, was giving us a presentation, she mentioned three major players, the first three players in Takaful in Nigeria. So I think the first is African Alliance, Niger Insurance, then Cornerstone Insurance. So Lagos, the Congress professionals have decided to go into the African Alliance, which is the first in Nigeria, and bring out another resource person and a great insurer. And that is the person of Mr. Ismail Anyonlere. Mr. Ismail Anyonlere, to give you a brief introduction of him, is a team lead from African Alliance Takafu PLC. He is a member of Chartered Insurance Institute of Nigeria, that is CIIN. He's a fellow of the Islamic Finance Professionals. He's also a fellow of Islamic Institute of Accounting and Finance. So, brothers and sisters in Islam professionals on board, I bring on to you rather, Mr. Ismail Anyonlere. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, sir.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Sorry, please, before I proceed, how many minutes do I have so that I can confine myself to the time?
Okay, thank you very much, sir. You have 10 minutes. Okay. 10 minutes, sir.
Thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum, brothers and sisters. First and foremost, I will say I'm delighted to be amongst the Congress professionals this afternoon. And I equally appreciate the fact that I've been given, okay. Okay, and I'm equally, I want to appreciate the fact that I've been given the opportunity to be amongst your midst, at least to discuss Takafu today. I equally want to appreciate the main speaker, Alaja Taibat Adeniran. To be sincere, she's my mentor. She's my boss, anytime, any day. And of course, I've learned a lot from her tutelage. So I sincerely want to commend what she has done. She has really given justice to the topic of Takafu. She has virtually, discussed about the nooks and crannies of Takafu in Nigeria, existence, what we currently have, and even the global perspective concerning Takafu. So I will just quickly take 1 or 2 points based on what she has said and just give some little explanation on it. She has defined the takafu as a joint guarantee, taken from the word kafala, and she has given a very extensive definition of what takafu is all about. As a scheme based on brotherhood, solidarity, and mutual assistance, which specifically provide financial aid and assistance to participants in case of need, whereby the participants mutually agree to contribute for that purpose. It's also an agreement among group of members known as participants, which collectively agree to guarantee each member against potential loss or damage, as clearly defined in the agreement or the pact. Majorly, she has mentioned some key points that drives the business of takafu, going by the fact that takafu operators are clearly in insurance. We say that insurance company are risk bearer because, of course, the insurer transfer their risk to the insuring company. Now, but in the case of takafu, like she has rightly mentioned, it's purely a situation where risk are shared amongst the participants, and the operator manages the participant fund on their behalf. So she highlighted the fact that we have shareholders and participants when it comes to takafu operation, which is very clear. Like I said, participants will continue to purchase takafu products, bring in their contribution, and that will be managed by the operator. And in so doing, she has mentioned the aspect of ta'awun. Ta'awun, like she rightly mentioned, has to do with mutual assistance, because these are part of some of the basic features of takafu on its own. And she has equally mentioned tabaru, which has to do with voluntary contribution, which as a sort of principle equally manages risk that is being brought by participants to the pool. Of course, risk sharing is the basis of takafu, and the operator actually manages the fund. So in so doing, when we look at all of these features that are inherent in the takafu operation, I will just quickly dwell into some verses of the Quran and the hadiths of the Holy Prophet that buttress the ta'awun, mutual assistance, and equally tabaru, voluntary contribution, which are the basics behind the takafu operation. Take, for example, Allah in His infinite mercy has told us in the Quran that Surah Al-Ma'idah verse 2, where He says that we should help one another in virtue and righteousness and piety, but we do not help one another in sin and transgression. These are areas where the concept of ta'awun and tabaru is coined. Ta'awanu alal birri wa taqwa. Likewise, the Holy Prophet Sallam equally told us in one of his hadiths that Allah will always help His servants as long as He helps others. The whole concept about takafu is to make sure that we have a very stable community, and the community is in a state of harmony. In another hadith by the Holy Prophet Sallam, when we begin to look at the concept of ta'awun, which is mutual assistance, and tabaru, voluntary contribution, at least to allay or to give succor for any individuals in the pool that might suffer a loss, the Prophet told us in one of his hadiths that one true Muslim or mu'min and another true mu'min is just like a building, whereby every part in it strengthens the other parts. The question of ta'awun comes in here, and the concept of tabaru equally comes in very much here. So the question now is, based on all what he has said that we have taken our time to listen to, then why do we need takafu? Why do we need takafu? Of course, as Muslims, we need takafu to help each other as Muslims, especially in times of crisis or disaster. We equally need takafu to help when death occur or any other unplanned and unforeseen circumstances, crop up. Why are we contributing tabaru into the pool? Why are we talking about mutual assistance? Should, in case the participant dies, the beneficiary will adequately be compensated using the concept of tabaru and ta'awun for the beneficiary of the deceased. And all of this will likely result in any or all of this of the following. Income could be lost, unpaid liabilities could come, children's school fees, financial insecurities and hardship, unpaid rent. All of these are areas where, like she mentioned, the area of family takafu and general takafu, area of family takafu, will almost take care of this when that such risk crystallizes. So we all need takafu because as Muslims, we must not practice conventional insurance, like we all know. And when we look at the concept of conventional insurance vis-a-vis takafu practice, what are the salient features that differentiate the two? She has rightly mentioned it in one of her slides. But again, I quickly want to point our attention to these three features that are 100% inherent in a conventional insurance practice, which of course in a takafu arrangement, it is nullified. And that is what actually makes takafu to be Islamic and equally Sharia compliant. When we look at the conventional insurance view from Sharia perspective, you discover that we have the problem of riba, interest, in a conventional insurance. Likewise, we have the problem of gambling, maisir, that is inherent in a conventional insurance practice. We have the problem of garar, uncertainty, which is equally very predominant in the conventional insurance practice. Then problem of unnecessary exploitation. But when we look at the takafu arrangement, take for example, when we look at riba should not come in any way in the practice of takafu, because that, like we all know in the Quran, Allah has told us, the Holy Prophet has told us that riba is haram, is prohibited. And when we look at that,
Mr. Ismail, sir, you have 3 minutes more, sir. Sorry about that, sir, for interrupting.
Thank you. I will round up now. That's why I even asked for the time.
Right.
So the concept of riba, the concept of maisir, the concept of garar is totally eradicated under a takafu practice, and it makes it halal and permissible for Muslims, to practice. Lastly, because of the time given to me, we have debts in the area. We have a depth of, we have a lack of gaps in knowledge and gaps in knowledge of takafu currently in Nigeria, even globally as the case may be. But I want to be specific about Nigeria. It has to be a sort of continuous education for each and every one of us, especially we that are Muslims, in the area of Islamic finance. And like we all know, we have the Institute of Islamic Finance Professional, which has been a champion in this regard. So let us just all come together and be supportive in this area, so that all the knowledge and the knowledge that is required to propel Islamic finance, takafu inclusive in Nigeria, will be a reality by the special grace of God. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Jazakumullah khairan for that as well. Like I told us, the Congress professionals is not a small fry when it comes to developing Muslim professionals in the world generally, not just in Lagos or in Nigeria. And the more reason why the 7th edition of our monthly webinar forum is talking about insurance, Islamic insurance, like it has never been before. And, I'm sure, like I said earlier, a lot of us will have gotten our notes filled up. We've been taught a lot by the first speaker, the managing director of Cornerstone Takafu, that is Alaja Taibat Adenike Adeniro, then closely followed by Mr. Ismail, who is from the African Alliance Takafu. The two of them are from the top 3 Takafu operators in Nigeria. And it's amazing the level of growth, based on what the two resource persons have said. The rate of growth from 2013, I think, if I'm not mistaken, up till this moment, from about $12 billion to I think about $40 billion. That's amazing, because whatever Allah has laid down for us as Muslims, and we do not digress from it, the barakah of Allah will always come over and over. It's just for us to lay our hands on it and do it accordingly. And just like we've been told, there are a lot of job opportunities from what we have been able to put down. A lot of job opportunities if we go into the Islamic insurance. That's Takafu. Alaja Taibat has told us that there's need for us to encourage our younger ones, catch them from their institution, from school, engage them. She also said something that actually puts smiles on my face and gladdens my heart, that part of the means or the of which Sakafu has been successful in Nigeria is public awareness, and that there's need for more public awareness. And she now made reference to what we are doing here today. That is what the Congress professionals of the arm of the professional arm of the Muslim Congress is doing at the moment is part of, you know, adding success, that some of the things that will add that will make Takaful insurance, Islamic insurance in Nigeria and generally in the world to develop. So I'm glad that I'm part of this today, and I'm sure some of us are a lot, if not all of us, are also glad. Now we'll be going to question and answer next. I'm not sure. I think the technical person will need to assist me that we should use the Q&A or the chat box to entertain our questions from the audience. But before then, we'll be going to the next on the agenda, which is the donation. We'll be having our donation next. But before then, there's a message from someone from, I think, Malam Jibrin Abubakar from I think Libya Assurance or so. So who appeal to him to get in touch with us or use any of our social media to get in touch. You can, if you're on Twitter, you can DM us or even send a direct message on Facebook to us. We'll entertain your request. He is from another insurance company and is willing to, collaborate with the Congress professional. So we'll deal with that back end, inshallah. So at the moment, we'll go to donation, and that is going to be done by our vice chairman, the vice chairman admin. That is Madam Abdulwahid Adebambo. Madam Abdulwahid Adebambo will be the one helping us with the donation segment. Inshallah. Bismillah, sir.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Thank you very much. The presentation was very, insightful and quite interesting. A lot of the public have also been educated about the product, and we thank the lecturers, both the main lecturer and the other invited lecturer. We appreciate you all. But in furtherance to this, what we do is actually not free. We need sponsorship, to make sure that our programs are also online and physically on ground too. Then part of what we also do is that the registration is also open to membership of Congress, is open to everybody. So whoever that is a professional, a graduate of higher institutions, both working class and even the fresh graduates, they are also welcome into the Congress. The essence of us having this is just to ensure that everybody, Muslims, we try as much as possible to put things as a professional into our thinking and make sure that we also do this thing with the Islamic tenets, not just being a professional and you are just doing this and that. All the tenets of what Islam preaches should also is something that should be seen in us. So account is what is this script that we can also Facebook, the Instagram, Twitter, and our website is also there for you to also make inquiry about the TCP or whoever wants to know more about TCP. So as much as we have, this is what we have for you, and we appreciate your contribution in this regard. You can see that's all the social media angles that we have. Thank you very much for your time. It's been very wonderful having you around. Thank you, and God bless you.
Allahumma ameen. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Jazakallah khairan for that. Like I said earlier, there's a need for us all as Muslim professionals to contribute well enough, taking our own part to the development of the Congress professionals, by bringing up such laudable programs. Now, so inshallah, we'll be going to question and answer, and I've been told you can use the Q&A medium, to put in your question in the question and answer session. You can check it below, or if you are using a laptop, you check it. It's definitely at the base of the system. Or if you are using a phone, click on more, and you see where you found the question and answer, the Q&A session. So, my first question is coming from. Okay. I would like Elijah Taibat to go first. So I'll be reading out the first question.
Okay,
somebody is asking, Wa alaikum salam wa barakatuh. Wa alaikum salam.
Yes, I'm listening. Okay.
Okay,
The
all right,
question,
ma.
yeah.
So, okay, ma. Under life takaful insurance, what products or policies are offered by Nigerian takaful operators?
Yeah,
Somebody?
thank you very much. We have very many of them. We have the one for the family. We equally have the one for education of children. We have one that you can use in planning your marriage. There's so many in that presentation. I have almost 10 products. We have the individual Hajj and many more. And most times, maybe the need doesn't flow within that. We have HIP. Maybe you want to save towards something in a very short time, 2-3 years. We have that. Then we have one that is still boiling now, which we call the Esusu, which you can use to plan for the future. You do a lot of savings via online, and you'll be happy that you have something in your portfolio somewhere that can help to meet any needs in the nearest future. So there are so many products under the individual family takaful.
Okay. The next question is coming from Malami Yakin Koforola, and he's asking that, he said, I learned that what you have explained is in principle. How does takaful now work in practice based on the 3 fundamental issues you have raised? That is the ta'awum, the tabaru, and risk sharing. Also, is there no provision for famine or crop failure or farm infrastructure loss in takaful insurance? If available, please guide us on.
Okay. Although I am Ismail, equally, Brother Ismail mentioned the 3 guiding principles. The first is that all investments is based on the principle of al-mudaraba. So that makes the interest base to be out of takaful. Then the second one, there's certainty in takaful, because he equally mentioned uncertainty, which is when we say life cover. Nobody can cover life, because it has been said that every soul shall have a taste of death, but nobody knows the time. What we only need to do is to plan so that when the time or the death comes, those we leave behind will not be left to suffer. So that is equally certain, because we know death will surely come. So we only need to plan. So that is one of the things that family takaful, education, and all of that is meant to cater for. And the last, which is gambling, it comes as per investment. And we can't go into any investment that have element of equally uncertainty. If you want to invest, that's why at first when takaful came up, there was challenges of where to put the fund. But with the advent of non-interest bank, non-interest investment, the platform is becoming now is very rich. So we have so many, even Sukuk and all of that. those are some of the platforms that Takafu Fund can be put so that gambling element is off. And equally, all the fund, we are not either gambling with Takafu participant. What we are doing, we are fund manager, that's Takafu operator, they are fund manager, while participants, they are owners of the fund. So everything is very clear. And maybe the last thing, which I can equally mention, there's nothing like risk transfer under Takafu. Everybody, the participants, they are there together to support one another. So all this makes Takafu far, far different from conventional. Then on the other products that were mentioned, like agri, actually, yeah, we are looking at that possibility. We are trying to see what we can do. When you say agri, is very wide. So the first thing is for you to have the knowledge, which is currently what we are doing. So immediately the knowledge is full, then we can now apply to the regulator for approval to start agri cover on the Takafu. But it is doable.
Okay, Jazakallah Karama for that. The next question I want Madam Ismail to entertain that could respond to that question for us, and it's coming from Madam Kamaldeen Kanzudin. Now, is asking, how can one be a Takafu practitioner?
Okay. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullah.
Wa alaikum salam wa barakatuh.
Thank you very much. It's very easy and straightforward to be a Takafu practitioner. I would say categorically, as of today in Nigeria, at least we have close to about six or about 5 Takafu operators in Nigeria. And they definitely have a career path for any individual that is interested, in pursuing his career in Takafu. So I will advise that for that purpose, any individual that is interested can always visit the website of all of these Takafu operators, look at the career portion of their websites, and look at the profile he or she has, whether it fits in. Even where the profile does not fit in, and that candidate is equally interested in pursuing a career in Takafu, yes, he could come in, hopefully if he's taken in, and he cannot begin to now at least, toe that line by, doing a continuous improvement of himself. Likewise, I mentioned an institute in Nigeria today, Institute of Islamic Finance Professional. That institute is equally championing the knowledge about Islamic finance. And the institute wants a situation where each and every individual in Nigeria at least have an idea of what Islamic finance is all about. Of course, such individuals could easily enroll at this institute, at least to have a knowledge of Islamic finance. So it's a very wide knowledge, and equally is a very wide industry that anybody that has interest in can easily fit into. Thank you.
Okay. The next question, Mr. Asmail, I will still want you to attend to it, although it's coming from an anonymous attendee. So he's asking, what is done to the unredeemable funds in case of fire or property?
Okay. I think since my mentor, Mrs. Adeniran, is still around, and she's more like a more like a technical in the area of general insurance, I want to crave your indulgence. Please direct that question to her. She will be in a better position to answer. Thank you.
Okay, Alajama. The question again is that what is done to the unredeemable funds in case of fire of property?
It's like I've lost. Hello.
Hello, ma. Can you hear me, ma? I think Alaja is having a bit of technical issue.
Okay, maybe while Alaja is still coming up on that, One little
Okay.
thing I can say about that is that majorly for general Takafu principles or general Takafu product, of which fire theft and burglary is part of, the premium or the contribution paid majorly goes into the Tabaru pool.
No.
Majorly goes. Okay, she is back.
Okay,
so
Alaja is back now. Alhamdulillah.
Yeah. Okay. I think I can take it off from where Ismail stopped. Naturally, all funds paid by participants are kept in a pool, which is called the Tabaru Fund pool. It is from there claims are paid, if any. And equally, at the end of the period, the balance is divided into, depending on Takafu operators and the way they build their own reserve. 50%, 40%, or 60% will be kept in reserve to cater for future catastrophe, while the balance will now be distributable to participants. How is it done? We look at what each person contributes as contribution, we call it contribution or premium as well, conventional. This amount is going to be in proportion of what is distributable that will be allocated to such an individual. I hope I'm clear.
Okay, alhamdulillah, man. I think you're crystal clear on that. The next one is coming from an insurer, and he wants to know if his name is actually Abdulwasif Adeshino Alamu, and he's asking if there is any limits is there any limit set by regulators on the volume in terms of naira now of risk? Takafu operator, yeah. Is that you want to know if there's a limit set by the regulators on the volume of naira?
When we say limit, there's what we call retention limit. Retention limit is the limit at which any Takafu operator can absorb within his own environment. And any amount above that retention limit, for example, maybe it's 50 million, any amount of risk above that must be seeded out. When we say seeded out, it can be seeded out as a co-insurance with other Takafu operator or seeded out to a re-Takafu company. The essence is still to reduce the exposure or the liability of Takafu operator. So there's actually what we call retention limit.
Okay, the last on this, before I move to the chat box to see if you have questions there, is okay, this one I was asked before, but I think this question is important. Malam Yekini Koforola is asking that what has been the efforts of Nigerian Takafu to join the Pension Fund Administration, that's the PFA? He continued by saying, because the way the conventional insurance have been handling people's money, when it gets to the time of compensating and returning their pension contributions, is not encouraging.
Yeah, thank you very much for that question, sir. I know pension is another challenge that we are facing in this country. But to now move it to Takafu, I remember in 2003, 2004, there was this particular pension company we intended to groom, build, so that they will have a window to cater for non-interest pension scheme for the Islamic, but unfortunately, the learning profiles of individuals differ. And what we have observed currently is the investment platform to place such fund, because these are hand-earned money which a person has worked over years. You now want to put it somewhere. It's supposed to be yielding profit year in, year out. But if the investment platform is not conducive to achieve this, definitely the pension fund will continue to be eroded, and it will not pay the individual that has put his fund in such an investment. So in view of this, we are still looking at how best to manage it. Will it be ideal to place the fund into real estate? If the volume of people that will collect funds continue to increase, what will happen? So all these are what is still creating challenges in the Takafu war. And that's why for now, even the regulator, they are yet to approve a pension scheme for any Takafu operator. But it's something we are still working on to ensure that is achievable. So we are still, the research is still on it. May Allah make it easy.
Allow my amen. We say a big amen to that. And as we are coasting home, okay, somebody is asking about such as the guys. Okay, that's just a general comment from the chat box. Okay, there's a question from Alam Sharafaddin Amusat, and he's asking, how does Takaful operator goes about the sharing of profits if participants suffer no loss for consecutive 3 years? What percentage on general and family Takaful?
Yeah, I think I commented on that. I think somebody asked that question earlier. Naturally, there's a pool of fund, that is all the contribution paid by participant is kept in Tabarupos. And it's from this Tabarupos that we paid claims. So at the end of every financial year, the account is reviewed and the net is kept, or maybe depending on Takafu operators' acceptable reserve limit. Some will say 50, some will say 60, some will say 40. So that 40% will be taken out and kept in another pool, which is called reserve, to cater for future catastrophe. While the balance of either 40% or 60% or 50% will now be distributable to participants who do not claim. And these participants, their contribution will be the basis of what is payable to them, is in proportion of what they have contributed to the pool. That is, the balance will now be shared based on what has been contributed to the pool. So that's how it's done. But for profit, that one is easy because the portfolio is kept separately. So what is in the family business as profit is what is distributable to participants.
I'm sorry.
Okay, Jazakumullah Karama. We sincerely appreciate the contributions from our guest speakers, Alaja Taibat Adenike Adeniro and Mr. Ismail Ayonlere. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward you all abundantly. We appreciate that. The next on the agenda will be for us, because we are costing home. I think we have about 5 minutes to round off. This event is expected to round off by 6:20, inshallah, and we'll round off before 6:30. So now we'll be having the vote of thanks from our number one citizen. I introduced him earlier. That's number one citizen of the Congress professionals, and that is another person than our chairman, Madam Mansour Shogui, who has been on board with us from the inception of this program. Bismillah, sir. Shogui.
Hello?
We can hear you, but the network is not favorable.
Okay.
Your voice is fluctuating.
Hey.
From my end, I still cannot hear you.
Sorry.
The network is not cooperating. I still can't hear you, sir.
Hello?
Hello, sir. Mr. Chairman, sir. Okay, while we are waiting for him, I'm trying to see if we can just try and refresh our memory again from what we've been taught, what we've been told here today. Technical, is there anything we can do to the network for us to manage it? Sorry, the device the chairman is using. Okay, while the chairman is having issues, I'm going to call on the vice chairman technical to stand in place of him. I hope and pray that the network will be better. Madam Abdiyakin Idowu, I want to call on you to do a vote of thanks for all the participants and our guests who have been with us since the inception of today's and this month's webinar.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
We thank God's honor that made this program possible today. We also use the opportunity to thank our invited guests. Okay. Hello.
Please continue.
Okay. Just continue, sir. Just continue, sir.
So we also use the opportunity to thank our guest speaker, and Alaji. So we pray to God Almighty Allah. Allah will continue to enrich them in knowledge. And we also thank all the participants that sacrificed their time and to listen to attend our program. May God Almighty Allah continue to guide every one of us. So Jazakumullahu khairan.
Jazakumullahu khairan to you too, sir, for the vote of thanks. We'll be calling on the coordinator of Ikorodu zone to give us a closing prayer. That is Malam Abdulkabir Gbadebo. I hope Malam Abdulkabir Gbadebo is on board, but before I hand over the microphone to him, I want to urge us again and inform us first, actually, that for all the series that we've had in the past, from edition 1 or episode 1 of the monthly webinar forum up to the 7th one, which we're having at the moment, you can get it on our social media platforms. You know, I've read out the social media platform and we have it on the screen displayed again, over and over again, on Twitter, on Facebook, on Instagram. We're also on LinkedIn. As professionals, we should be on LinkedIn. Then we are also on YouTube. So Lagos TCP. And except I think it's only on, okay, you have it on the platform now. So on LinkedIn, we are Lagos TCP. On Twitter, it is Lagos_TCP. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. That is TCP Lagos. and also on Instagram and Lagos TCP. You have it there on the screen. So for Allah's sake, please, we need you to continue to follow us. And if you have questions, the conversation continues online. So you can always get response, from our resource persons and our professionals, on our social media platform. So I'll hand over the microphone to Malam Abdikabir Badibo, the coordinator of the Congress professionals in Ikorodu zone. So after him, we will round off to this month's segment. Bismillah, Malam Abdikabir.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. We give thanks to Almighty Allah. We give thanks to Almighty Allah for giving us another privilege for this successful webinar today. We thank our elder scholar, Professor Valaja Toibat Adeniro, and the second speaker. May Almighty Allah reward them abundantly, and everybody that's participated on this program as well. May Almighty Allah reward us with Ajana Firdaus. ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم إنك أنت التواب الرحيم اللهم اغفر لي وارحمني وعافني وارزقني اللهم قبل الموت وبعد الموت ربنا وانشر لنا إنا مؤمنين يا عزيز يا غفار يا رب العالمين سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون السلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين صلوا على النبي الكريم
صلى الله عليه وسلم. آمين. جزاكم الله خيرا جزيلا.
آمين.
We also want to inform you that our Telegram link will be sent to everybody's email. Everybody that have joined this webinar for this month, for further clarification on this particular subject and the previous one, we will send the Telegram link to your email. You can always join. You can get clarification for it. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alamin. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Jazakumullah khairan.
جزاكم الله خيرا.